All right, guys, let's evaluate some expressions. Now, this is going to feel just like the order of operations lesson that I went through with you, but there's one extra layer of actually substituting in the right numbers for the variables and then evaluating them carefully. So, this is really like a part two for the order of operations lesson. More practice, more skills, but making sure we're plugging in our numbers correctly, especially when they're negative numbers. We always want to put parentheses around any negative numbers when we're plugging in and evaluating an expression. That's got to be the most important part, probably, of this whole lesson here today. Let's take a look. Okay, so the directions say evaluate each expression given the following values for each variable. So here I have a equals 2, b equals -3, c equals 4, d equals -5, e equals 7, and f equals -7. So what I need to do carefully is I need to substitute these values into these expressions, and I have to keep in mind that when it says 2a, and a is 2, that doesn't mean I plug in 2 and make it 22. It means 2 times 2. Because remember, we talked about this. Side by side means multiply. So this is really saying 2 times 2. Notice I plugged my 2 in parentheses when I plugged in the value of 2 in for A, plus 3 times D, and D is -5. Now I do my order of operations. I know I have to do my multiplying first before I ever add. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 times -5. 3 times -5 is -15. So now my expression actually becomes 4 minus 15, and 4 minus 15 is -11. Next one, b squared minus e squared. Well, let's see. B is -3, so I'm going to do -3 squared. Notice I put it in parentheses. It's a very big deal. Minus e is 6 squared. Let's see, -3 squared. Squaring something means to multiply it by itself. So if I say to you, what's -3 squared? I'm asking you what's -3 times -3. Well, first of all, a negative times a negative is a positive. -3 times -3 is +9. Minus 6 squared. 6 squared means 6 times 6, and 6 times 6 is 36. 9 minus 36 would get us -27. Awesome. Next set. -3c minus a plus d, the sum of a plus d, and then plus f. So now I need to go back carefully and take a look. So this would be -3. I look back at my directions. It says c is 4. So that would be -3 times 4. Minus, and then in parentheses, I need to do a plus d. A is 2. D is -5. So I would go back to this and say, okay, well, that's 2 plus -5. Now, I put that in parentheses, a -5, and then I needed brackets because I want to make sure if I'm using different grouping, I want to use different grouping symbols so you can see what's actually being grouped together carefully. Plus f. Let me go back to my directions, and it says f is -7. Okay, so back to this problem, f is -7. I plug in a -7. So now this becomes -3 times 4 is -12 minus, in open bracket, 2 plus -5 is -3. And then plus -7, we know we don't need double signs. Plus -7 really means -7. I then want to take care of the fact that I'm doing subtracting a -3. This then becomes -12. If I subtract a -3, that really means I'm adding 3 and then -7. -12 plus 3 is -9, and -9 minus 7 is -16. Excellent. Move my screen over just a smidge more. Okay, next one, 2 times b minus e. So if I went back to my directions, this would be 2 times -3 minus 6, because b was -3, e was 6, plus, in parentheses, f plus c. All right, the value of f was -7, plus the value of c was 4, close parentheses squared. So now I would do 2 times. I evaluate what's in my grouping symbols. -3 minus 6 is -9. Plus, I evaluate what's in these grouping symbols. -7 plus 4 is -3 squared. Because these two parts of the expression are separated by a plus sign, I can take care of them at the same time. 2 times -9 is -18. Plus -3 squared. We talked about this before. Squaring something means to multiply it by itself. -3 times -3 is +9. And then -18 plus 9 would get me -9. Last two. D minus C divided by 3. Well, let's see. D was -5 minus C. C was 4 divided by 3 minus 4 times. Now, look, I have to do A times B, right? Side by side means multiply. A times B and then add F. So that would be 2 times -3. My A was 2, my B is -3. And then I need to add -7. So there's a lot going on here. -5 minus 4 is -9, so I can simplify that part of my fraction. So I have -9 divided by 3 minus 4. Now I need to take care of what's in here. 2 times -3 is -6. And then remember, we don't want to use double signs. Plus a -7 really means just -7. So that would be the better way to write it. I can simplify my fraction up front. -9 divided by 3 is -3 minus 4, open bracket, -6 minus 7 is -13. Last part I want to simplify here before I do my subtraction is I need to multiply -4 times -13. Remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. So now this becomes -3 plus 4 times 13 is 52. And -3 plus 52 leaves us with 49. Last problem. C, which was 4 times the quantity of AB. So 2 times -3 minus 1, close those grouping symbols, plus DE, which means D times E. So -5 times 6 minus F squared. And F was -7. There's so much going on here. I bring down my 4. I bring down my grouping symbol. 2 times -3 is -6. So this is -6 minus 1 plus, oh, actually, -5 times 6 is -30. I don't want to write plus -30. I would just write minus 30. And then minus -7 squared means -7 times -7. A negative times a negative is a positive. And so that would be minus 49. I take care of what's in my grouping symbol here. So this is now 4 times -6 minus 1 is -7. Bring down the minus 30, minus 49. 4 times -7 is -28. Minus 30, minus 49. And remember, we do our subtraction in order from left to right. -28 minus 30 is -58. And -58 minus 49 gets us -107. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.